Hello and welcome to The Four, the hidden DNA of Amazon, Apple, Facebook, and Google. A book review, takeaways from that book, and favorite ideas that I found in this book. And it's by Scott Galloway. Let's see what we have. First one is, in general, women are better in evaluating their surrounding while men are better in future or prey. And it's cool also with the next one, but first I'll give a little idea of it. Is that women are better in evaluating their surroundings. So they better at see what's going on around them and evaluating. And men are better in, of course it's a generalization, but better at thinking about the future and found praise. And again, that's go with the next one, is that men usually pick fast and go back to their cave, while women taking their time to evaluate the product. So, and that's a consumer behavior kind of a thing. So, which goes back to hunter-gatherers times. So men will pick fast. It is also how they buy stuff. And they go back to their cave. So they go buy things fast and go back. While women take their time and they like to evaluate the product more. So they will take their time and see what's going on. Next one is, people like to go to physical stores because that satisfies the need of traditional gatherer. And that's again going with along the thing about consumer behavior. So people like physical stores still, even in the digital internet era, where there's a lot of online shopping, but people still like, especially food, to be in a physical store, because that's a satisfy the need of traditional gatherer. So you look and you feel it, and that's again satisfy that need. Next one is, luxury talks to the part of us that wants to be transcendent and closer to the divine. This also makes us more desirable by other mates. That's going along with the idea of, the next one is the idea of Apple is luxury. So what Apple does is gives us luxury. And what luxury does, so that's going back to this one, that it talks to the part of us that want to be transcendent. It's perfection, closer to the divine. It's like the holy thing. And that's what Apple offers. The closest we have so far, human invented, that is closer to there. This is also what makes us more desirable at our mates. Because we have better belongings. We're better than other people, even though not a lot of people have it, but it's more attractable, makes it more attractable to other mates because we have like better resources of some sort. Next one is, one of Apple's strength is that they have many luxury physical stores. So that's really important, and what is unique about Apple and makes it better than other companies, they have many physical stores. So for example, Nike, Adidas doesn't have that many stores. They sell their stuff in other stores, but they don't have their own physical stores. And not only they have a lot of stores, Apple has a lot of physical stores, they're also luxury. People like to walk around and spend time. Of course, if they buy something, but even if they don't buy stuff, even for me, sometimes I like to walk around because that's beautiful, minimalist, and it's fun to walk around there. So they did a good job, and that's one of their greatest strengths. Next one is, the good universities are like homeless shelter that takes pride in how many people they turn away. It's prestige instead of social good. So that's the idea of universities. And not necessarily I agree with this idea, but I still like that. In general, I like this idea. So it's like a homeless shelter that takes pride in how many people they turn away. It's good that they do it because they get a lot of good students, and they are managing to get a very good people out of there, but it's prestige, and they turn away a lot of people. So this is not social good, it's prestige. They're not trying to help all humanity, they're trying to help only a percentage of the humanity. And it's just like a homeless shelter, they will turn away and will take pride of how many people they turn away, because that's what those universities do. They actually take pride in how many people take. It's only 4% of the applicants get accepted, and that's a pride. and they actually do take pride of it. And just like a homeless shelter, they'll say the same. It's interesting. Next idea is the greatest of those companies is that they get better with time. The more information they collect, they become smarter. Unlike car, newspaper, TV station, etc. So that's what makes those companies so great, is because the more data they collect, they always collect data. Amazon, Facebook, Google, they always collect data about the consumer or about any other thing. They collect a lot of data. And this data only makes them smarter and more adaptable into future. So the more data they collect, the more they go along with their life, the company life, the smarter they become. Unlike newspaper or a car or a TV station, they don't get better with time. They stay the same, if not deteriorating, because of the building gets shittier, or the human resources or whatever. They don't get better. But those companies only get better with time. And this is not like the rest of the companies. This one is Google is a new religion because Google answers all questions we might have. So this is some kind of a God. You even compare Google to God, because usually religion answers a question we don't know the answer to. And when we have Google, every question we want, you might find an answer. Not every question, but most question you can think of, Google has an answer. You might need to dig a little deeper, but even in religion, you need to sometimes dig. Not every rabbi or whatever or priest know answers to everything. Or you need to go deeper into some books and read. Religious book, I mean. But here in Google's give you all kinds of answers. So that's kind of a God. Next one is Amazon killed their brand. People don't care much about the brand as long as there is something offered in a cheaper price. So they conducted some studies about it. So Amazon killed the brand. People used to be loyal to their brand. So let's say, for example, they used to go Nike all the way. They don't get other things. And with the rise of Amazon, people care less and less about the brand. As long as they have a good quality with cheaper prices than what other brand offers, they will go to a different brand. So if Adidas give a better price, same quality or even better quality, they will switch. And they can have both companies at the same time. They go all the way with one. And that's an interesting idea. Next one is, as hunter-gatherers, we like more things because more things usually mean more success in surviving. And that's one of the reasons why we're so good consumers, because we like things. It's a evolutionary trait we developed, because more things we have, used to say when we were hunter-gatherers, mean that you will have more probabilities to survive. Because more things you have, more tools you have, you more adapt. Even in today's environment, some things means that you will be better in surviving, but it's usually mean more in the past. That's why we like to buy stuff and we like to own stuff. Next one is, less is more. The less you give your customer hard time, the more they will adapt your product. So that's what going with the new companies. For example, Amazon, Uber. So I think he gives the example of Uber. So it's a hassle-free kind of a app. There is no problems. It's like you press a few buttons, the car gets there, and it gets out of your credit card. There is no hustle. It's literally a few buttons, and you get from location A to location B. Only a few steps. Compared to a taxi, which is like you need to stop the taxi. Not every taxi stops you. You don't know who you're gonna get. How much will it cost? So you know everything in Uber. So that's what. So less is more. The less problems you give your customers, the better they will adapt your product. It's interesting. Next idea is, other countries might see Alibaba with political gains, meaning they might use the company to exploit some political gains. It doesn't have to be Alibaba. He gave the idea of Alibaba, but it can be any other companies, any big companies usually, because they're so important for a specific country they're located in. For example, Alibaba for China, or even Google and Apple, Facebook in America. So people might see those companies with geopolitical lenses and might use those companies when they have conflict with other companies. So, for example, we can take right now when I take this recording, there is this trade war. So, and I see US and China use or try to use some companies in order to exploit or gain some political force in order to change the other country's behavior. Next one is Tesla's deposit of new cars is excess of about $300 million of free loans. And that's a kind of I like this idea of how to get free interest. I think it's for about a year they got $300 million of free loans because that was the deposit for the car. So they needed capital. And instead of going to the debt market, they went and they get deposit for the new cars. So deposit, I think it was like I think for a year, a deposit was for a year, maybe even more. So they got access to $300 million of interest-free loans, which is something that is not present in it. And it's really hard to get. So usually if you go, even if you have a very good interest rate, you get like 3-4%. So even the US government gets like, I think it's like around 3% now interest rate. And Tesla got $300 million, which is a lot of money, of free, interest-free capital. I like this idea of the way they access that capital. Right, that is it. In general, I'll give this book around, it depends. So I will give it 3, but it depends because I read a lot of those companies. I like technology and I read a lot about it. So I haven't learned that much from the book. I definitely learned some, but if I would less knowledgeable about those companies, I'll probably give it 4. So it's right into the point, not much bullshit, and pretty good information. So it's not too long too. So that's pretty much it. Adios.